Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live stream on Thursday. And we are on, one second, just trying to, episode 40 of the Thursday live stream. Before we go any further, just want to share with you a membership video, and then we will be right back. Where is it? There it is.
So you want to join my membership?
Gotcha. Sign up.
By joining, you won't only unlock members-only content, you'll also be supporting my channel and the growth of the community. Are you ready to do your part?
I'm doing my part.
For as little as a price of coffee a month.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
You'll be able to access all past live streams and get exclusive members-only content.
Yeah, boy.
That's less than 49p a video.
Shut up and take my money.
So if you're ready, join now and become part of this 3D journey.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Okay, so as you saw there, you can become a member of the YouTube channel and you can grab all the past live streams. So that's the dragon tutorial, that's the anatomy tutorial, which we're going through at the moment. They also get the full versions of videos as well. This week's full version, or next week's full version of one of my past projects is, funnily enough, the Callisto Protocol. So you'll get the full 3-hour video of that with music in the background, and you can sit back and relax and watch and see how I sculpted and composited this in 3 hours. So yeah, that's exclusive for my members only. As well as that, you can become a Patreon. Level tier 3 have just finished off the exclusive tutorial on how to sculpt the Velociraptor. And I am currently thinking up a new tutorial to make exclusively for my Patreons. So if you want, you can become a tier 3 member and you can grab that tutorial and have something cool to have in your portfolio. It's basically guided towards beginners and also experienced artists, but mainly beginners. So you can follow along step by step on how to sculpt the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Right. As well as that, tonight we are going to continue our Callisto Protocol Mutant, but I wanted to share with you a new brush that I just created during the weekend, and I'm going to test it out tonight. So I got a new brush. It's called the Zombie Skin brush set. It's basically just a bunch of alphas that I've created in ZBrush as a VDM brush. So there's 50 of them, and they're just a array of different sort of skin mutations or tears or cuts and scars and boils. So yeah, if you want, you can grab that from my ArtStation, Flip Normals, Cube Brush, and Gumroad. They're up there online for sale. But I'm going to show you how I use them during this live stream. So hopefully you'll get an idea how they work. Let me just go to my background music real quick. Let's stick a horrible music choice on. Right. Sorry, I'm just a little bit weary of what I'm doing here. If you can, please put a thumbs up or in the chat, or a 1 in the chat if you can hear me all right. And I'll get started. So I'm going to jump into ZBrush now. And by the way, this is a chill session, so don't worry. You don't have to sit in silence. You can ask me any questions you like about anything you like. It doesn't, tonight's the night to do that. Joseph Bonkowski, one of my best members and longest members, saying hello. So yeah, as you can see here, we got the mutant from 2 or 3 live streams ago during the Halloween period. We started to add some details or alpha maps from my previous mutant brush, but I have a new mutant brush that I wanted to share with you and show with you tonight. So we're going to do that. We kind of added this to layers, I believe. So I'm just going to make a new layer in here. I'll just call this zombie brush, so I know which one's on. And we'll get into this. Yeah. So everything's off. All the banners are looking good. Everybody's in there. Everybody's talking good. Right. Cool. So if I press B on the keyboard, you can see I've already loaded them in. So we got 2 brushes for the brush set. So we got zombie brush number 1 and zombie brush number 2. I split them up because normally VDM brushes are quite heavy if you have too many VDMs in there, because it's running off a different way of alpha maps rather than using alpha maps. It uses a 3D version of an alpha map, so it's kind of using a different method, and it can make the brush quite heavy if you have too many brushes in one. So I've split them up into 2 brushes, and we'll just take a look at some of these. So you can see here they all line up at the top here, and they're all named as well. Not very great names, it's just a simple name to remember them. Hey Cakester, nice to see you again. So yeah, I'll just grab one of these. I'll grab the first one, and I wanted to sort of give a variety of sort of skin tiers and stuff like that, because I've noticed that a lot of my brushes, I don't have those, so I thought it was a good idea to grab that as well. Tomorrow, hello, evening, nice to see you in again. I had to adjust. You can see on the stream there, I had to adjust the chat box because StreamYard's decided to update their system and update the chat. So now I can't have my little scroller at the top there. So now I'm going to have to have it at the very top. I'm going to have to design something at the very top to fill in that gap there. So we'll see. Anyway, Kater says, I'll be heading out at 9 p.m. to watch The Traitors, but I thought I'd stop. Oh, don't say anything. Me and my dad, we're watching The Traitors at the moment, and I normally see it with him on Sunday, so we have 2 episodes on Sunday. So, but yeah, I'm one of the fans of Traitors. I'm not a massive fan of the what do you call it, the celebrity Traitors, but I'm a massive fan of the normal ones when they have normal people doing it. I think it's really funny. Cool. So I'll just grab the scar one, as I said. These are mostly scars and skin tears. There are some boils and other stuff as well, but they're mostly tears as well in this. So if you just grab scar one, you can see how it works. So if you just add it like an alpha map, now you have to be a little bit wary about the back here because of the way the VDM brush works. I believe if you just tap on back face masking, it shouldn't affect the other side. And if it does, then I'm in trouble. But it doesn't look like it has a lot. There's a little bit of cleanup needed maybe, but essentially that's the sort of brushes that I've created now. So you can add a skin tier alpha. You can see it's coming through here. You have to be a bit wary about VDM brushes. They're very temperamental on how you look at the model. If you're straight onto the model, normally it's fine, but you just need to rotate and just check that it's not working on the other side either. Casey says they should do a series where they don't even reveal to the viewers who the traitors are, so we can play along to. Yeah, I was thinking that as well, actually. I was thinking about that as well, but then you think to yourself, it's a lot funnier that we know who the traitors are, because we could just be like, screaming at the TV about it. So this is number 9 scar. So you can see a lot of these scars are pretty deep. If you want, you can change the intensity on it. You don't have to have it in Z intensity at that high. You can have a bit more of a shallower scar or tear, sorry. And I've kind of sculpted this kind of like muscle definition underneath, but there are other brushes in here. So if I grab another one, where are you? I think it's in the other brush. So if I go to ZBrush, if we go to brush number 2, there are actual tears in here that are more aligned to that have just the tear but no muscle definition underneath. So if I grab number 27 and say I wanted to put a gash or a big hole in his head here, you can see I just pull this out, and now I have a hole where then I can come in and adjust it afterwards with the other brushes and clean it up a little bit. These are meant for speedy sort of concepts as well as using them for your own sculpts. but essentially it's there to help you speed your process up, you see, when creating creatures. So you can have like a hole in the head there, and you could just imagine that that's the sort of skull underneath. Now if I grab that same brush, you'll see if we go along to the Scar 34, it's exactly the same brush, but with the muscle shape underneath as well, like some sort of fleshy stuff going on underneath it. So you got those sort of scars in here that work like that as well, and it's just fun to have, fun to use. You can add them pretty much anywhere, and they'll just work quite nicely. You can see here, got a nice tear going on in here, and you just come in and clean it up or add to it with the dam standard. You can come in and start to add more detail to them. But like I said, it's essentially a quick fire method to get your sort of sculpt going, and also to get something on your model. So yeah, it's not bad. And we got some other stuff in here. We got some skin as well. I made some skins in here. So we got these holes in the skin here. So number 33, or sorry, skin number 3. Sorry. You can see it's kind of garishly sickening. You can also do the invert as well, so you can invert it to bring out the bumps rather than push in the bumps. And this is great for if you just want to add some very quick skin detail on. You can kind of cover a huge area, you see, like that in no time. And same for these other skins. So we'll just use these now to add some more detail. Let's try. Let's put number skin 3. No wait, skin number 1. See what happens there. So this one's another bumpy type surface. So you can just use this to put in around very clean areas. You can also do the invert as well for this one and push it in. So it's kind of simple. It's similar to this one here, but this one's a bit more of a pockmarked skin, so pocked holes into them. And then just use the invert to pull out again. As you can see, we're starting to get some nice detail using that type of brush. And then we've got other holes in here as well. So we've got these skin holes number 7, which is a nice one, just very simple again. But if you use this in the right place, then you can get some cool looking results with it. And yeah, so that's this new brush that I've just created. Oh, I also have a really cool skin holes here. I haven't got anything to put it on, but basically it's like a intestine. So I'm just going to put it on the buttocks here because it's quite a soft, quite a flat area. So if I pull this out, sorry, grab that brush first, and I pull this out. Whoops. Sometimes that does that. I don't know why. When I pull this out, you can see it's kind of like a massive hole where maybe that's some sort of alien intestines or something. I got a couple of these as well, so you can play around with these. That's kind of like a stomach tear. So if you put that in the stomach area, right here, you can see it kind of works quite nicely. Looks like his sort of stomach is falling out of his side there. And also this one is quite nice. Got a smaller gash, but just a peek through, or a peak of sort of intestines coming through there. It's quite nice. It's a bit gruesome, but you know. Again, we've got some veins in here, which are standard veins. So you can probably just use a standard brush for, but I thought I'd put them in there as well because you can sometimes get some nice results from them. Hamid, nice to see you again. Someone, please don't start talking about the traitors. Anonymous, traitors is a great idea, but I imagine that the job of the editors would be almost impossible. Deciding who to focus on when creating a TV narrative could work as a 24-hour stream. Yeah, I think so. It could be like the new Big Brother, you know, you stick them all in a house there, and it's like Big Brother style, but you're just watching a bunch of traitors basically. Queso says, I left the screen for a sec and then put my headphones on to hear buttocks. That's the first word. Brilliant timing. Oh, brilliant. Oh, yes. Yeah, I was actually going to talk to you about that. The Traitors. I think that was... Now, there's a lot of people... Well, there's a lot of, like, origin stories for that show, The Traitors. And I was watching... I think it was a Joe Rogan short or a Joe Rogan show podcast, and they were discussing the Traitors when it first came out, because it first came out and then it became a very big thing on TV, and they were discussing the origins of the Traitors. And the guest that they had on, who was a very learned man, I can't remember what his name was, but he was a very learned man, and he said that the Traitors was something that the Russians, there's a folklore, or if it's a game in Russia where it's supposed to be about, it's not called the Traitors, it's called the Wolf, I believe. It's called the Wolf, is what they said. And how they would play the game, it would be the wolf and the sheep, and the wolf would come along every night and kill one of the sheep, and one of the sheep and also it wore the sheep's wool as a disguise, so you didn't know who it was. And yeah, so it would come back every night and steal one of the sheep and eat it. And it was down to the sheep to find out which one was the wolf, basically. It was quite interesting. Apparently, I can't be 100% sure, but apparently that is where the idea for this Traitors game came about. That sort of background knowledge to it. But like I said, it's been around for years, a sort of like game type thing. So yeah, let me grab some more brush stuff in here. So we got some more boils as well. So if you want, you can put one on here. Just got to be careful how you place these, because it works along the 3D axis, the 3D model, the surface of the model. So when you're doing it, just remember to place it in a what do you call it? A proper place, basically. You don't want to stick it on here at the side angle, because if you do this and you come to this front here, normally it will stretch, right? So what you want to do is look straight onto the model and then pull the geometry out, or the alpha out. That's typically the best way to do it. Yeah, maybe not. Especially not the celebrities. Otherwise, I think Stephen Fry would definitely be on the news a couple of days ago. But yeah, the old folklore style of the game, it was a wolf in sheep's clothing that would come along and steal the sheep, or steal the well, maybe it was like a wolf in human skin, like a werewolf, maybe. I'm not sure. These got some nice scars in here as well. So, if you go for scar 13, you can see you can add some scarring to the head here, if you like. They're all relatively similar, with some cool effects to them. What's this one? Oh yeah, it's a big gash, that one. So it's pretty cool. You got some other scarring. I call them scarring, but they're not really scarring. It's more like deformities and stuff. So you got this one here, which you could use for sort of the back area, or along the arm, if you like, maybe. So if you want, you can add this to the arm and get some cool effects going. Just remember to be careful how intensity is on this thing, because it can bleed through to the other side. Got this alien effect going here, so this is quite nice. If you want some sort of stretched skin between two muscles, you can. This is a really cool brush. I really like this one, how this one came out. And you can quickly add that sort of stretchness to the skin, really. Tomorrow says, I'm sure I played the Wolf game at the party years and years ago. Yeah, like I said, it's an old game, folklore sort of thing. That's what I heard from the Joe Rogan show when they were talking about it. Hamid Salame says, I'm happy to be watching the live stream again too. I couldn't watch the live stream last week because my daughter was sick. I thought it had already reached the compositing part by now. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, family first, man. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear your daughter was ill. No, actually, this one we're taking our time with this one at the moment because I want to show you some interesting things. What the hell's going on here? Some strange stuff going on in the armpit. But yeah, I just want to share with you some new stuff and take my time with this one because it's quite an interesting model to try and sculpt. So try and take my time with it. It's not a lot of I don't get much time to do like really cool sculpts and enjoy them. So I thought might as well try and enjoy this one. As much as possible. Casey says, I also prefer it when it's random people rather than celebrities, but this season has been pretty good. Yeah, I think it's Alan Carr. If Alan Carr wasn't in the show, I don't think it would be that interesting. He's the only person that is interesting to watch on that show. I think anyway. So we got these cool sort of bullet hole type scars as well, so you can add these anywhere you like. Just a big variety really of things you can use. Got this one here, so if you want some more sort of gash type things going on along the sort of back areas or these areas, it's quite a nice one to use. Along the rib cage as well, you could put that along the rib cage. It's quite cool. Yes, Rugby Joe. Rugby Joe is a cool guy as well. I always find when the camera points to Rugby Joe, he just looks like he's constantly confused or angry as hell. But yeah, I think he's a really cool guy, man. It's fun to watch him try to. In fact, he's the only one that's really getting the idea, isn't he, of who the traitors are. So yeah, it's really cool to watch his mind work. Even though it looks like it's working in really slow motion when you see him. But yeah, cool guy. So you see there, got nice skin stuff going on. I love these brushes actually. I think they're really good. They're going to speed up your process. I mean, it's great for this sort of creature design or mutant design stuff, but I'm going to have to make other brushes, I think, in the future. I love making these sort of alpha brushes and watching people use them on their models. It's really cool to see the effects they come out with. Another holes one here, so you can find some area to place them. So you can see you got some more holes there you can add. And jump over to the other one and just have a look here. So these ones are pretty simple. From 27 through to 34, they're basically the holes in the head with nothing underneath, and then the ones with skin underneath. So the great thing about these scar ones with nothing underneath, with the sort of whole skin on them, is that you can put them over existing. If you try and find a boil, not working now, but you could put them over existing topology and add some detail around it, and it won't affect the information underneath. You see, which is I think pretty cool actually. So if you want, you can have these boils sort of pulling out from the skin, if you can get it to work all right, but you can make it look like they're coming out the skin basically. Bit difficult, bit tricky, but it's doable. Definitely doable. All right, so I'm going to delete this one because I was just a tester, just to show you what those brushes look like. And we're going to get into this. So I'm going to add a new layer. And actually, I'm going to use one of these tiers on here. Just want to put this against the head here and just see if that's... what about this one? Yeah, but let's use the scar without. So this is, if you imagine that underneath here is going to be the skull. So that's just kind of represents the skull there. So that's a pretty cool bit of alpha there to add. And I'm going to grab the other brush. And we're going to grab one of these scars, skin tears. So 1 to 3 are the same, but with different types of boils. So if you add this one here, you can see there's some boils coming out of the skin. This one, number 2, same thing, but a little bit different design. And number 1, sorry, is just normal without any boils or deformities or stuff like that. So I'm going to use that one actually, because as I mentioned before, I want to keep everything on the right hand side kind of humanoid and everything on the sort of left hand side here and down here a bit more mutant. So I kind of want to have a little bit of a scar on this deltoid. So we can add that there. That's going to be a bit of detail for that. Hamid says, what is your favorite survival horror game of all time and why? Good thing. I think the one I fell in love with the most, and it's not even one from years ago, like ages ago. It's basically, it's well, I say it's relatively new. It's been a couple of years, but Alien Isolation is definitely one of my favorites. It's I've got the game. I've played like a little bit of it. I don't really find much time to play video games, but I have played a little bit of it, and I've watched other people play it, and I just think that is just an amazing game. From start to finish, it just encapsulates the whole Alien sort of universe, and it really brings it to life. It's that's definitely one of my favorite interpretations of a video game, of a film, into a video game, and also it's just really well done. What about you guys? What is your favorite games? I mean, it can't all be Alien Isolation. In fact, I like the Alien Isolation, and they just announced that they're bringing out Jurassic Park Survival. So I think that's going to be the next one that I'm going to fall in love with, because who doesn't want to have a video game set in the Jurassic Park period, original film, not remakes. Where you're running away and you're hiding from dinosaurs. I mean, that's just brilliant. So Tomorrow says, can't believe Alien Isolation is over 10 years old. Jesus, that makes me feel old now. So I was 25 when that game came out. Jeez. Yep, 25. Time flies. Time does fly. Let's grab some. Oh, we also have these cool one. I've also got this cool one here, which is like, it's got a few maggots on the skin there as well, so you can see. By the way, when you're using these brushes, make sure you have a high enough topology count. But you can see here, I've also added on the sculpt itself a few little maggots that could represent some sort of maggot infestation on the skin there, which is quite cool. So I might just put this one. It's a bit difficult to find a place to put it. I want to make sure everything makes sense with the surrounding topology as well. might not need to use that one, but yeah, there is maggot ones in here as well, so that's pretty cool. So you can just imagine that this whole arm here, if I'm using this alpha, is just tearing this guy's arm out of its socket, basically. So all the skin around it is just getting torn up. You can add this one to number 7. You can add that as a little mini scar, as if you just got a paper cut. Hamid says, for me, Resident Evil is my favorite survival horror game. I've been playing this game since I was in high school, about 25 years more or less. Bloody hell. Is that the original one or the recent ones? Because I think the recent ones are pretty cool. I never got a chance to play the old ones. But I think the recent ones are pretty cool. Some of them. I mean, they get a bit weird sometimes, like story-wise. I feel they get a bit out of control. But they still keep making them, so yeah, must be an audience out there for them. Add a few pock holes in here. More skin holes. Really go to town with these skin holes. The great thing about these skin hole ones is that if you want, you can do the invert and get some extra boils in. Okay. What am I looking for here? Let's have a look at the reference real quick. Did anybody else see the news as well? They, I think it's Universal Studios, have decided to not reboot, but make a sequel to the Mummy franchise, which I think is going to be brilliant. I think I love the Mummy franchise. It's definitely one of my favorite franchises when it comes to films. But yeah, they're going to they're in talks and with the original actors and actresses about bringing them back for a sequel or prequel, sequel, whichever one it is. Can't tell these days, can you? There's so many of them. But yeah, they apparently are in talks to bring back that franchise, which I think is just going to be brilliant. I love that. I mean, I don't know what it is about it, but it has that feeling of it's that cozy feeling when you're watching the Mummy, the original Mummy films, right? I'm not talking about the latest one or the other one that they created, the Scorpion Kings or anything. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the original Mummy films where Imhotep and the O'Connors, what do you call them? That sort of storyline. It's something about that period in time that it just works so well with the film The Mummy, right? Because you got, instead of like the Tom Cruise one, they try to make a remake of the dark anthology of Dark Universal, and it just flopped. But it's something about placing it in that specific time period, The Mummy, when it just makes that cozy feeling when you're watching it. It's not too far in the past, like the actual Mummy period, and it's not too far in the future where they have iPhones and electric cars and whatnot. None of that crap. We want old school post-World War or pre-World War sort of technology, and I think that's what appeals to that. That's why that film appeals to so many people, because it was set in such a long time ago that it just makes sense when you see the technology and stuff. It's just it's a throwback to that sort of period, when they were digging up mummies in Egypt and all that sort of thing. But like I say, I'm a massive fan of that film and that franchise. So I definitely have a bias to it. But if they can get it right, I'll be up for it. But you never know with films today. You think you're going in and you're going to get a certain type of film, but then they come out with slop. The majority of the time is just pretty much just slop. I'm hoping that things are turning around soon. You haven't heard much about you don't hear much about Hollywood these days, really, do you? I haven't really seen much news about Hollywood. I'm just using the other brush now, so that's the muted brush the mutant 30 muted brush set that I also have on sale. Like I said, you don't actually hear about Hollywood that much these days, which is a bit disconcerting that you haven't really seen much come out. There's some things coming out. There's that Running Man that's coming out soon, which I think is it's going to be a cool film. It's originally was Arnold Schwarzenegger, wasn't it? The Running Man. So yeah, that would be quite a fun film to watch, but not much else has come out. And there's now talks of Netflix being bought by, sorry, not Netflix, Paramount or Warner Brothers? Netflix wants to buy. Can't remember which one it is, but they want to buy one of the major movie houses now. And that means that they'll have control over those titles and they'll be able to start making their films. So yeah, that could be quite interesting. See how that goes. Tomorrow says, I haven't played a game for a while, but I used to love Battlefield 4. The gameplay was much better than some of the ones that came after. Yeah, I was a massive fan of Battlefield 4. I think I got into the Battlefield saga when they brought out Battlefield. What was it? There was that Battlefield with a campaign with those 4 soldiers that were stealing gold. I can't remember. Was it Battlefield 2, 3? Can't remember. But they soon afterwards they started to just make generic Battlefield, like Battlefield 4, 5, 6. But the ones where they had the good sort of campaign missions with those 4 soldiers. Oh man, that the multiplayer on that was absolutely nuts. Like when you first played that game and you blew up a house, and you know, because before that it was Call of Duty and you didn't actually get a chance to blow things up. It was just it wasn't even like environmental damage. It was just shooting people. But then when Battlefield came out, everything changed. The whole sort of gameplay changed. When you first blow up a house with a tank or explosive, it's just crazy. The physics and stuff. Of course, now every single game's just got that anyway, so it's not that special anymore. But you know, when you first saw it, you thought, "Wow, it's crazy." Oh. Right. Let's grab some boils. I'm just going to add a few more boils into these areas. Some of these areas are a bit barren. You can see I'm still just putting a lot of emphasis on the areas that I want these to be. I'm not going overboard and putting it everywhere, like some of the concepts in the images down there. But yeah, just isolating them in key areas, basically. And I've got to go do something with this face real quick. So I'm going to grab the dam standard. And just going to let's add a new layer. Just going to come in here, just add some line work detail. I'm not going to be too precious about this because it is supposed to be like an open, a wound type thing. So I'm just adding some of that monstrosity to him, basically. I love using the dam standard to cut into the models and add detail this way. Especially for a sort of speed sculpt concept, this is a great way to add some quick detailing just using the dam standard brush. There we are. Oh, thank you, Tomorrow. Yes, I did do an Instagram painting. I'm not very good at painting, and it's something other than 3D. Basically, I want to get into that sort of realm of art now. You know, I want to start doing more of those sort of things because it's just fun. It's just a fun, relaxing thing when it goes right to do. You know, like painting. So it's kind of it's just me doing other things rather than 3D work. Not that I'm going to give up on 3D work. I just don't like, I want to do other stuff, you know, improve on other art aspects of art. It takes me forever to do paintings. I wonder if I can, I don't know if I can show any of it, but yeah, if you go to MLW Creations on Instagram, you'll be able to see some of the painting stuff that I do. It's mostly centered around the female form. But I find that, yeah, more interesting than male form to try and paint. And there's an artist by the name of Chris Guest, who's got a very particular art style, and it just, that whole pop art sort of style just really appeals to me, and I really want to sort of learn how to do that sort of stuff as well, because I want to make sort of posters and whatnot out of the artwork and sort of sell them online. But I'm right now I'm just, you know, working on my skills and putting it out there for people to see and whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely a Instagram page I haven't really had much time to work with, because the 3D aspect of my skills comes first before my 2D stuff. So just using a standard brush, I'm just going to add some more form to some of this. But again, I'm not going to spend too much time. Yeah. I just finished watching I was on Netflix and because I don't get much time to watch anything, so I have to watch things in sort of in stages, I guess you could say. So I just finished watching, because it came up on my feed, The Matrix Reloaded. Now, I haven't seen that in donkey's years. I used to be addicted to that film. I was just watching it. I saw it on Netflix, sorry, and I thought, screw it, I'll just watch it and see how that is. I'll tell you what, that film still holds up today. I know there's a lot of people that say that the fight scenes in that sort of enclosed park area was a bit naff, but the actual film itself is just brilliant. It still holds up really well. Currently watching the third film in stages again. But yeah. Thomas Camp says, epic dude. Thank you very much. Thomas says, I love Adam Hughes' female superhero art. Check him out for inspiration if you've never seen his stuff before. I'm going to look it up right now. How about that? What was his name again? Sorry. Adam Hughes. Hughes art. Images. Let's see. Yeah, I like this. This is some nice stuff. This is the sort of stuff. Well, yeah, it's the sort of stuff I like to look at. I mean, look at that. That's a painting, To get that sort of like that latex look to anything is just is crazy difficult. But yes, this is very much in my wheelhouse of sort of style. He's obviously a professional. And I hope to one day get there myself. But yes, I would love anything. I would love to just paint for a living. Be a good enough artist just to be able to paint for a living. Not that I don't like 3D. It's just that when you're doing it for so long, like anything out there, when you're doing it for so long, you just want to try something else. And I kind of feel like that sometimes when it comes to 3D. I just want to sort of do something else, completely else. So do some of this throat action at the back here. Yeah, just I don't know. I think everybody gets to that stage though. You'll all get to that point at some point in your life when your career, that you'll be like, I kind of just want to do some painting, or I just want to, I don't know, go do bricklaying or something physical with your hands. I find that as well when I'm doing like housework or DIY stuff. I feel a lot more satisfied than I do, doing 3D stuff. I mean, we get some cool 3D stuff going. That's great, but to do stuff physically with your hands and make stuff and fix things, kind of like how people, their hobby is to do like Legos and stuff like that and build things with Lego to keep their minds active and stuff like that. That's the sort of thing I like. Not that I don't like doing this. Again, I have to keep saying this. I do like doing 3D. It's just you do this for so long, you kind of want to do something a little bit different. And you'll all get to that point at some point in your career. You'll be like, this is cool and all, but I want to try something else. I think it's called fatigue, isn't it? When you'll kind of want to try something different after a while. I don't know why I'm spending so much time in the mouth here. I'm hardly going to really see anything in there, but you know, got to go through the motions with these things, these sort of things. Right, I think that's enough for the face or the mouth area for now. Damn standard. So yeah, another film I just recently finished watching was The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. I'm kind of on a Conjuring spree at the moment. So I bought it on Amazon, and I saw that there was another one, Last Rites, I think it is. I thought, screw it, I'll just grab that one as well whilst I'm here. Might as well. I enjoy them. I think the Devil Made Me Do It was a bit of a strange one. They kind of went a little bit off the Conjuring track, if you can even say that. They, you know, I don't know anyone else who's seen it. Put a 1 in the chat, but yeah, I think it's not my favorite one because it's a bit too. It wasn't really a haunting. It was a Conjuring, wasn't it? Nevertheless, it's still a decent film. But definitely not the best one. I think the first or the second one was better. Hamid says, before you start sculpting a creature or imaginary character, do you usually make a 2D sketch first, or do you just do it mentally? I just do it mentally. Yeah, I will grab a couple of references. Oh, actually, grab the reference, put it back in here. I'll normally grab a couple of references of what I like, and then I'll just go ahead and start sculpting. Normally, I'll have an idea in my head of what I want to achieve. And that's sort of all I need to get me going. But when it comes to the detailing, it's nice to try to find some images that relate to what you're creating, and then kind of pick and choose from those images what you want to incorporate into your model. And that sort of helps me get past that point as well. Grabbing some skin from my new brush set here. I think the top of the head, let me just check the references real quick. Yeah, top of the head's got a couple of holes in it, so that's pretty cool. We can add some holes into ours with the new brush. So let's go to the zombie brush here. Where are those holes that I had? Let me just try these ones first. So you can add a couple of these small ones maybe, or you can add the maggot one on the top of his head there. That's pretty funny. No, let's find the one I want. Ah, here it is. Yeah, that's looking cool. And you can come in here with the standard brush, and we could just add some extra detail to it. So it kind of helps blend it into the model as well. Yeah, it's all right. Damn standard, and I'm just going to fray. Is this the right alpha? Alpha 47. Just going to fray this here a bit. Adding some of that asymmetry to it as well. I think the hardest thing that an artist will try to get their head around when they first start ZBrush is the shortcuts. So you'll see that when I try and find a brush, I kind of know what the shortcuts are. So you kind of get a glimpse of the brush menu before it disappears. That sort of muscle memory is invaluable when it comes to ZBrush. And pretty soon, if you're a beginner, you'll look down at the keyboard quite a bit, but soon it'll be like playing a video game where you just sort of know exactly where those brushes are or those buttons are on your keyboard, and you'll just sort of float your hand around those areas. Okay. What I like doing is I like to kind of finish a key area in some of my sculpts when it gets to the detailing part. So the key area would be the head for this piece. So if you can get the head done to about a 90% sort of pass rate, then you can go ahead and do the rest of the sort of body and whatnot. But yeah, it's nice to have something that's pretty finished compared to stuff that's not 100% finished all over. Especially like when I normally talk about the sort of processes of sculpting, I always mention that you should look around your model, all the way around your model, keep zooming in and out, stand at a distance and look from a distance and whatnot. That's all very well and true when it comes to the sculpting the block out stage, but when you have to do the detailing, you do really have to get in here and start to sort of focus on one key area, I think, and make sure it all kind of makes sense before you move on to the next. Okay. Just going to grab the masking brush, and what I do is just pull this ear out of it. Almost the weekend, guys, again. I hope everybody's had a great week, by the way. We will be doing a portfolio review this month. We missed it last month because I was trying to get this thing done for the Halloween special, but never got there. So we're going to have our portfolio review this end of this month. So if you want, you can send me a link to your portfolio on ArtStation, preferably ArtStation, because it's just easier and quicker to look through things on there. And as an artist, if you're a 3D artist, you should have an ArtStation account. So if you haven't already, I'd highly recommend you go out and you get one. If you're trying to look for a job in 3D, that's typically where recruiters will go to look for people. Okay. Back to the zombie brushes, and let's grab a skin detail. I'll put this down, the intensity down a bit. I just want to have kind of noise along the surface. I don't want it to be overbearing. And yes, before anyone mentions it, I have been working solely on this layer, which is not a good idea, but I'm doing it for speed purposes. Okay. So I got some of these veins as well, so you can add these veins in as well if you can find a good place to put them. Not always perfect, but just a nice little vein to add to your creature. If you can find a good place to lay it down. It's not always easy. Skip that. And, oh, let's put a boil there actually. So I'm going to put a boil just there. Yeah, that's going to look good. Scratch my leg. No, I don't want to add that in there. I think there's too much there. Let's just add some. Start running out of ideas, yeah? Where to add things. So if we're coming down this way, we'll add some detail to this leg here. Where's that brush set? And you gotta be very careful with this brush, especially when you get to legs, because as you can see, as I pull this out, the geometry is quite close, so it's going to project onto that other side there. So if you do find that is happening, you just need to mask off one side of the body and then reuse this, and it won't do anything like it did there. Yeah, that's a bit too much. Let's drop the intensity. Kind of just want some surface noise when it comes to these ones. I don't want it to pull away from the what's happening at the top. So the key focus for me is up here, not so much down here, but we'll add some details in here anyway. Where's the skin? Skin's always in the wrong one. There it is. Everybody's probably buggered off to watch the traitors now. You are traitors. That's what it is. Holes, holes, holes. Was that in the other one? Just trying to find some interesting things to put on this leg. Oops, where is it? Yeah. Grab the other brush set. There must be something in here we can use. Crotch area is going to be pretty bad. Yeah, just using the dam standard. I'll use a standard brush as well to add some wrinkles and fat deposits. So it looks like it's overhanging. Overhanging skin. And the stretch of it all into this gruesome looking sack of boils. Kind of need to pull out this rib cage. If the skin is stretching, then it needs to look like it's stretching. There we are. Is that too much? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's looking good. Anybody in the chat? Anybody on the stream? My God, I think I've lost loads of people. What's happening tonight that nobody's online? What's going on? Is there a rapture? Has it finally happened? Have I missed it? More fat folds. And droopy skin. It's all about getting those wrinkles like fold upon fold now, like trying to figure out where it all sits. Add some boils to this. I'm actually spending quite a bit of time at the back here, but probably won't really see too much around the back here, so we'll see there. I mean, if you have a turnaround, then maybe you will see it. So maybe could be good idea to add it. I have this fat fold at the back here. Might as well just pull it out. What's the time? 1:16. Okay. I'm fully aware that people are probably gone to go and watch the Traitors. So, is it it's the finale? That's probably why. I think it's the finale. So I think that's what they said on the radio. I'm not sure though. I've tried not to listen when they start talking about it, but yeah, looks like I've lost my audience to them. Oh, okay. Got some people still here. Was just looking back at my own female superhero art on IG from a few years ago. Needs. Yeah, that's why I never look back at my old artwork. I just stick it on ArtStation and just run. Like throwing a bowling pin down an alleyway, just throw it and let it be. Move on to the next thing as fast as possible. Amid says, I'm here too. I'm personally skeptical about AI in CG field. But considering the rapid advancement of AI in all areas, especially in CG, how long do you think artists can resist not using it? Not long. I think. Pardon me. I think that it's going to come to a head soon. You've already got pretty perfect video creations now. You know, they've sorted the hands out. There's still some iffy things to go about with the with some of the other things. What do you call it? Like a continuous sort of structure to the person that's on the CG on the video and stuff. But God, CG AI is just one of those topics that you could just talk about for years. I'm not 100% sure when it's going to start to really affect things. It looks like it's starting to affect some areas, but not in the way of CG just yet. I think there are a few. I have seen a few videos of, you know, you can now make a 3D model out of an image and that sort of thing, which is, you know, I think that's actually a pretty cool idea to take an image and make a 3D model. But you're still going to need, for now, you're still going to need an artist to clean that model up. And I think that's probably where our field is going to end up being, is like, instead of being creative, it'll just be, here's a model that was created using AI. We just need you to clean it up for us, texture it, or UV map it, because they already have the textures, I guess. UV map it properly. Make sure the specifications or the look of it is continuous for the project, and ship it. It'll definitely make our lives easier as artists, but it'll take away from the creative side of things. But then you start hearing talk online, on the news, about the race for AI and you know, technology wise, and how the stock market for AI, for Nvidia, because Nvidia is a massive component for AI, how that's doing badly and whatnot. And in some days it's good, sometimes it's bad. I don't know. But in terms of our field, like CGI field, the 3D modeling and sculpting, it's still a ways off, but not far off. So if it's really something that's concerning you, then I recommend, probably the best thing to do then is to learn it. Learn how it works. Just even just the basics, because everybody's, like you say, everybody's going to have to at some point switch over. And if you know at least a little bit of the basics, then you're already you know, further than some people maybe. It's just one of those things, you know. It's one of those things. Like I mentioned last week or the week before, my father used to work on massive boards because he is a structural engineer, draftsman, and they used to have the draftsman boards, which were huge boards that they had these huge sort of drawings on, and they had to draw by hand. Intricate work. And one day, one of the sort of offices he was working for, some people came in with boxes, and they told them that these are computers. And all the draftsmen just sat there and laughed because they thought it was a silly idea. How can a computer do intricate drawing work that us draftsmen have spent years of our lives learning how to do? It was a silly proposal it was a silly idea to think that a computer would be able to take over from a draftsman at one point. And my dad, he's sort of skeptical about it, as everyone would be. And he decided to take up, because they asked people in the office, who wants to take over and learn these machines, in their spare time, in case corporate come down and want to see if people know what they're doing. And he decided he'd take a shot and learn it. And thank God he did, because the people that were in the drafts, the workshop, right, who were the sort of, you would call them the old generation, or the hard generation, I guess. They were the ones that wouldn't budge and change their behaviors or change their method of work, basically. The dinosaurs, there you go. Well, they eventually went extinct. So the long and the short of it is, you probably be better off learning some AI just in case, or well, not in case, for when it does turn over and switch over, you'll be ready. It's better to be prepared than not be prepared. So yeah, at some point I'm going to start learning it, and I think everybody else will. When my attitude is, I will learn it once they start using it in the studio, because you'd have to use it. Until then, it's just something I've just been putting on the back burner. Hamid Salami says, yes, that's sad. Yeah, it is sad, because you should have seen the types of drawings that they used to draw by hand. I mean, these guys, it was like a work of art in its own right. The straight lines, the precision in just the letters. It's crazy. I could literally take the work my father did, which I think I might want at some point, because he's still got quite a few drawings that he took from his previous works. I think I'm going to frame them and just put them on the wall, because they are just crazy good. And it's a dying art, he hasn't picked up a pencil and ruler God knows how long, and now he just uses CAD or Microsoft Station, or whatever it is that he uses, that the program he uses for the office. So yeah, he's kind of but what the good thing is, though, this is the sort of thing that that everyone will struggle with, because they struggle with it in his workplace at the moment, right? The good thing about learning the basics, in my dad's case, the boards, right, is that you already know exactly how a drawing should look, because there's no difference between the drawings he's done on the boards and drawings he's done on the computer. The only big difference is that he doesn't have to have a huge area to work on these boards. It's just on a machine. So the good thing about learning the basics is that when it comes to the switch, you already have the knowledge on how things should look in 3D over someone who's just learned AI, say. They won't have the basic knowledge of how a character should move, or how clothing should be sculpted or retopoed, or all that sort of stuff, in order for it to move when to be perfect for the rigging artist and the animation artist to pick up and take on further. If you don't know the basics, then and you just know, oh, I know how to make an AI model. All right, cool. Can you retopper it? Do you know how to retopper it? Do you know? Can you troubleshoot? You know, when it comes to cleaning the model or fixing something. If you can't do those things, then even if you have the best knowledge about AI, you're still bloody useless in the studio. This is my own thoughts, by the way. Not everybody who does AI is useless, but you get the idea. You still need that background knowledge, like what I'm doing right now, in cleaning up and detailing even the smallest finest of things, in order to be useful. Because like I said, my dad, because of all the years he's been drawing on these massive boards and not just drawing but illustrating on the boards as well, because they had to illustrate and all that sort of thing. He knows how a drawing should look, and some of the I mean, I don't know draftsman's sort of techniques or how to read a plan properly. But even when he shows me some of the work he's done recently, or he's showing me someone else's work that they've done recently, who's been a new draftsman that's joined the company, he says, you know, it's not great. They don't know how to line things up properly. They don't know how to set the world scale for certain projects and whatnot. And it's kind of like they never learnt the basics, you know. And that's the problem. People are always in a rush. Not everybody, but most people are in a rush to do or create something that is mind-blowingly cool, but they don't want to learn how to get there through the steps of, you know, the basics. I have that in my own artwork sometimes, you know, especially when like I say, when it comes to drawing. For me, it's drawing. When it comes to drawing 2D images or whatnot, I rush, and that's only because I'm so used to rushing when it comes to 3D that I forget that I can't do 2D. And so when I do 2D, I'm always rushing the sort of drawing aspects. I'm not taking into consideration the correct proportions. It's kind of a mess when I start to draw. And that's something that I need to learn how to do better. I need to learn how to be a more patient artist when it comes to drawing and sculpting, sometimes sculpting as well. The slower you are in this sort of, especially the detailing stage, the slower you are, the better your art will look, because you're not rushing, you're taking your time, and you're basically taking those extra few minutes just to make sure everything works or looks proper. So yeah, do I think AI is going to do all the jobs in our industry? No. Do I think that people who just learn AI are going to be enough for the industry to use just them? No. You're always going to need someone with the old experience of the old style, of the old school style, like my dad, to be there to mentor and to show people how to do it properly when it comes to a serious issue or whatever. So no, I don't think AI is going to take over completely, because you still need people to do the AI job, and those people will probably never have done, especially the younger generation, will probably never have done the old school stuff, which is what we're doing here, like taking out, you know, working on a model. They probably never picked up a pen, a ZBrush pen, and sculpted something from scratch, and that's going to be their detriment. And you'll find that studios are going to be all up for the AI stuff at the beginning. This is what I think anyway. They're going to be up for it all at the beginning, and then once they see how frustrating and time expenses, or what do you call it, and how what's it called? Can't remember what the word is, but the amount of time something takes to do in AI, and how long it takes for them to just for the artists to fix it afterwards. And remember, these artists would not have picked up a ZBrush pen, or worked on a ZBrush model before. So yeah, I think we're going to be safe for a while. And if you know this technique of sculpting in ZBrush, as well as creating things using AI, then you'll be golden. You'll be laughing yourself into a job. But it is still important to remember the basics. Just don't give up on ZBrush or learning CGI completely, or this sort of artistic techniques and stuff. You'll only be kicking yourself, because again, you also have to imagine what companies are going to have AI. Who's going to be able to use it, right? Because AI is not cheap. AI, it might look like it's easy, one-click button and done, but these companies are going to be spending a lot of money. The big companies are going to be spending a lot of money on AI, and they'll only probably have a couple of artists that could probably use it. But the smaller companies, they won't have AI. They won't have the ability to pay for the AI assistants or whatever, because they're small companies. And I think what you'll find as well is a massive spike in indie companies, companies that don't have a massive bank balance or funding, but they will be creating the better games, because it will be a smaller company. It'll be the best of the best artists in these small indie firms creating the next big games. I mean, look at Expedition. I think it was Expedition 13. I think it's what it's called. I think that was a small company, and they seem to have made a massive game. A relatively well-made game. So I think that's probably the direction things are going to go when AI kicks into gear and these massive companies take over. They'll just lose all their artists, like real artists, who will get frustrated with the program or bored with the project, because it's just mostly AI cleanup and stuff. They'll probably just branch off into smaller companies with their friends, colleagues from other studios, and then you're losing that generation of knowledge, right? And then they'll just make small indie games which will become massive hits with the general public, because they don't have to obey by the sort of rules that these bigger companies have to obey by when they create video games or films or whatnot. They can do pretty much what they like for a game, and if they put it on the open market for the general public to play and become big, then they did something. They beat the system. They beat the AI system. Because you're going to find, I think what you'll find as well is a lot of this AI stuff is going to be generic looking and the same. Everything's going to start looking pretty much the same for a while. characters, actual gameplay. I mean, we're getting that a lot these days as well. With the introduction of MetaHuman and Character Creator, because studios can create something quicker using MetaHuman or Character Creator, they're not spending the time to create cool looking characters anymore, like Gears of War, unique characters, not something that you could just stitch onto a MetaHuman model and then have everything, all the base stuff ready for you. So you're going to see an uptake in some very unique looking characters and creatures and stuff like that in these indie games that are going to be more iconic. Chat, sorry. Tomorrow says, I still have no AI rule in my creative pursuits, but it won't be long before I use AI without being aware of it, like in a Photoshop process. Only way to avoid it is to go back to pen and paper. Very true. And most of the stuff that you use actually will have some sort of AI implementation in it, like Photoshop, which is, it's not so subtle with Photoshop because they literally put it on the welcome screen when you open it. Oh, have you checked out this AI tool? Oh God, yeah. All right, thanks. I don't really care for it, but thank you. So yeah, AI will start to be used more in these programs, and it will definitely be used in ZBrush. It's definitely being used in ZBrush and stuff like that as well. It's just in the background. You don't really see it. You feel like you have more control because you don't see it. Once it starts to take over completely, then you'll start to worry a bit more. But yes, pen and paper, the most expensive, that will be the most expensive art supplies that I'll ever buy, would be pen and paper, because I get this, when I start to draw something, I'll draw like one line and then I think, okay, I've already ruined it, and I'll throw the paper away. So yeah, that's my problem with that, basically. I'll probably just go back to like an iPad and, was it Sketchfab? Not Sketchfab. Oh, what's that? That one on Procreate on iPad. I'll probably just use that in the future. Joseph says, at the moment, AI is okay for create a clean sketch about your idea, right? Sketch about your idea. But at the moment, I think it is not a threat for the artist, as it's LS unable to create something perfectly detailed as desired or requested. Yeah. And it can't, I mean, can't really say that. I can't really say what I was about to say. I was going to say, it can't keep one model the same the whole time. It'll try to add extra pieces in all the time as well. But I think they're starting to stabilize that more now, so they might find that later on that will be a bit more stabilized. But yes, I wouldn't worry about it. Keep your eye on it, like, do some tutorials, watch some tutorials, watch whatever is going on in the industry about it. And if they all of a sudden one day just say, well, we're swapping to AI completely, then at least you'll have a heads up, but don't worry about it too much. Don't lose sleep over it, basically. Hamid says, right now, some film studios have already started making movies with AI, and this will be highly detrimental to the VFX artists. Yes, it will be detrimental to some VFX artists, but like I said before, they will just they will then move away from the major VFX houses and then make their own VFX studios, where they'll do indie films, they'll do B films or smaller production type films. As I said again, not every studio will be able to afford AI, because it takes so much power to run AI, so they won't be able to, not every studio will be able to achieve it, basically. Just look at how much, I mean, there was a survey done or a test done on on AI sort of learning tools and stuff, and the amount of power it needs is just unbelievable. So yeah. No need to worry about it, guys. No need to worry about it. If you just focus on becoming a great artist in CG, at least you'll have a background of knowledge when it comes to switching over, and you'll be able to see the issues with AI's sort of churned out nonsense that it might have or model, and you'll be able to fix it, and then they'll give you a raise, and then you'll become the head of the studio, and then you can say, we don't need AI anymore, and get rid of it. See, what you need to do is you need to start working your way to the top of the food chain so that you can say, we don't need AI. Let's get rid of AI. It's just a waste. And then the heads up at the top will be like, you know what? You're right. I'm wasting so much money on AI. I think I'm just going to get rid of it. And then we'll go back to the artists. So yeah, infiltrate them in the studios, infiltrate the studios, get rid of AI, and make it a non-AI area. I don't know. Joseph Bunkassi says, looks like I'm unable to rewrite properly tonight. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Unable to write properly. I can't even read properly, so don't even worry about it. Yeah. And if all comes to worst, just become a social media creator. There you go. That's always the backup, isn't it? That's everybody's backup. Oh, or actually, it's not everybody's backup. It's actually most people's desire is to become a social media creator. And I've got to tell you, it's not as well. I'm not a massive social media creator. I don't do it 24/7. I just create things and share what I do with you guys. But some of these people, they're working their fingers to the bones. It's very much a dog eat dog world when it comes to the social media side of things. It's definitely not for someone who's looking for a quick buck, basically. Especially not at these times, this day and age. Everything's starting to go a bit weird in these YouTube world, I believe, for these content creators. I mean, even I've noticed it. I haven't moved. My subscriber count has not moved very much in the last, year and a half. It's just stagnant. I don't think I'm ever going to reach the 100,000 mark, to be fair. Maybe one day, but I don't know. I think there's something with the algorithm they're doing. They keep messing with it, and it just. So I'll have like 10 new people subscribe to my channel, and then I'll be down 12 the next day, and I'll be like, "What the hell? How did that happen?" I have no idea. It just happens. YouTube just sort of sees things happening on my account, and then they just sort of they start to delete people. I have no idea why. And that's a problem with being a social media creator or content creator. It's if you're not good enough, you won't get subscribers. So you're kind of working for free and not getting any reward out of it. And B, YouTube can pretty much pull the plug on you, or these other platforms can pull the plug on you, or slow you down if they feel like doing it, slowing you down. So it's kind of, yeah, it's not great. Probably being employed is a lot better. Oh, got some questions here. A second. Joseph Boncassi says, according to my experience, I could imagine how it would work in a studio. Couldn't imagine, maybe. I think that's Hamid Salamani says, my vision of the situation we're in regarding AI overtaking artists is like the final moments of Titanic. The ship is sinking, but the musicians keep playing the piano and guitar. Yeah. I wonder who the rats were. I reckon the rats were the experienced artists. I think they jumped ship quite a while ago. Yeah, we're basically just the people playing music. We're not even the last person on the boat. We're just a person playing music and don't even see the water rushing up. AI, please make a dinosaur, and it makes a cow. Manager says it's not a dinosaur, and AI says you are right. Then I make a goat for you. Yeah, that's pretty much AI. The thing is, AI is only as good as the person who programmed it. Got to remember that the AI is not a learning. It's not a living thing. It's not, it's not breathing or thinking. It's just spitting out things that's already there. Now, if it's connected to the internet, it's got a lot of stuff that it can spit out at you. But typically, it's someone who is programming AI, right? Which means it's actually quite misleading and dangerous as well, because if you have AI take over and everybody's supposed to use it, and it's just one or two people creating the content for it to spit out at people, then you run the risk of making something that could be used against people, and then you're in a completely different realm of existence then. But yes, sometimes when you ask AI to do something, it'll do something that it thinks is, but it's not actually what you want. And you could sit there for 8 hours a day, typing stuff into AI and getting nothing that you want out of it. Or you could spend 8 hours sculpting something in ZBrush that looks like what you actually want, I think what it'll do as well is it'll come down to the artists that are faster than other artists and quicker and more knowledgeable. Those ones will be the last people on the ship, basically. So yeah, it's always good to learn, or maybe, just maybe, learn a different skill, completely different skill. Like, I don't know, welding or electrical engineering or anything other than anything in the realms of physical labor. I think you'll be fine. I don't see AI taking over from proper physical labor. I'm not talking, McDonald's or anything like that. I'm talking bricklaying and all those sort of things. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, what about the robots? Well, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe you've got a point there, but you're still going to need skilled bricklayers or people who know about bricklaying or any other industry like that to come along and inspect the work, right? So I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. A good backup plan. It's pretty depressing. Depressing. Hamid Salamani says, do you think age is a limitation for learning a new 3D program? No, definitely not. You can have really young people who are really good at art and 3D programs. You can have quite old, like old people, very old people. I say very old. That's mean. But you can get older people learning 3D. There's a guy that I used to know. I still know actually. He was originally a 2D animator. He used to to do 2D animations for TV advertisements and stuff like that. Then he moved on to 3D. Then he moved on to stop motion. Then he moved on to 3D. Then he moved on to video games, VFX, music. I mean, he's just learning any and every skill in order to keep his sort of his choices open, you know. So do I think you can need to be a certain age to learn 3D? No. Once you start to get used to the 3D programs and you have someone there that can actually guide you properly, it's all about actually, yeah, I think that's what it is. It's all about finding the right person to guide you in your first steps, right? I think that's one of the most important parts, because when I was learning 3D, which was God knows how long now, I left university at 2012. So since then, or actually during my university period, I was learning it for myself, and that was when YouTube was still rather, I want to say new, but I want to say basic, right? And it was still quite difficult to find good tutorials online to work from. I had to use something called Lynda, a website which had 3D courses on it. But sometimes it wouldn't have all of the courses, so you'd have to sort of guess or whatever. But even YouTube didn't have all courses again. You'd have to pick and choose the courses that were there that could help you with your project. I even bought the massive Maya 20, I want to say 20, oh, what was it? 2010, 2011 book that you get with Maya when you can buy them from Maya, and it'll show you some basic skills or techniques to use inside of Maya, but it won't show you everything. Like, it's just a very basic how-to guide, basically. And that's what I used, and I had to use that to try and find specific things, and it didn't have everything in there. I tell you, trying to find something to help you in 2010, 11, 12 for 3D was virtually impossible, right? You have to really sit down with someone who had the experience and had the knowledge in order to learn 3D. Now, it's easy. I mean, you just got to go on YouTube, type in 3D for beginners, and you've basically got every single artist out there that can help you with it, with learning how to use 3D stuff. Forgot what my point was, but yes, I think I just talked for too long. But yes, should you be worried about AI? You should be worried about AI for other things, but for CGI, unless you're finding it very difficult to find a job at the moment, which I think a lot of people will be finding it a bit difficult, especially in this climate. I think there was an interview with what's her face, Jennifer Lawrence, recently, and she was explaining how basically Hollywood is just sort of on its backside or on its arse at the moment, and they don't really have much going on. Oh, CG Froggy, hey, welcome to the miserable live stream. I'm joking. Welcome to the live stream, dude. Yeah, just working on Callisto character at the moment, character. You haven't missed much. You just missed me rambling on about AI for the last 20-30 minutes, and how it's going to take over and how we're all screwed. So best enjoy life now. No, I'm kidding. We're just talking about how it might affect the industry. So, but yeah. Jennifer Lawrence was doing an interview with some Hollywood reporter rubbish. I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to that shit, to be fair. And she was talking about how there's no work in Hollywood at the moment. There's nothing going on. So it's not just us that are feeling the pinch. It's also the big league people in their ivory towers. Kidding. Basically those people are at the top. They're also screwed. I think is there a strike going on? I think I remember there was a strike at one point, and that's why I kind of lost my job in the industry because of the strike. But yeah, just nothing going on with the film industry. Oh, and you got Ubisoft. There was something going on with Ubisoft, wasn't there? There was something about Ubisoft's sort of, well, Ubisoft's what do you call it, stock tanking, but like that's like a, you know, reporting on why on a day that begins with a Y, or a day that ends in Y, basically. Because they've been tanking for so long now. I don't know what they're doing as a studio. More layoffs. Oh, there was a whole thing about Amazon, wasn't there? How Amazon laid off, was it 70? Well, from what I saw, someone said 70,000 people. I think that could be a bit of an exaggeration, but you know, if anyone else has the number for that, that'd be interesting to know. But yeah, everything's, you know, I think it was. My thought on this is, it has to do something. All this sort of mass hires and firings has got to do with the mass hiring during the lockdown. I think, especially for Amazon and places like that, where they mass hired people because they needed to have people to work during the lockdowns. And as soon as the lockdowns had finished, they decided they didn't need the people anymore, so they needed to get rid of them, so they started to do mass layoffs. That's my conspiracy theory. That's my conspiracy theory. That's my take on it. A lot of other people have different takes on it, but I reckon it's because of that, which is why there's so many people being laid off. Oh, Joseph Bunkowski says, we got lucky because of you are guiding us. Because of you are guiding us. Yeah, well, you know, someone lucky, I guess. Midsummer, he says, I asked because I'm 42 and I still want to learn new texturing software. Like, oh, that's easy. Just go do it. I have a Substance course which will take you through the ins and outs of Substance, over a broad overview of Substance on my online stores. You can buy one of those, that tutorial, and you can learn the basics of Substance. I kind of go through a little bit of history about Substance as well, so you can kind of catch up with how and what that program is. And then you get to also sort of texture along, as I texture along, and I show you how to create a non-destructive texturing method, which is highly recommended when you're working in studio, to have a non-destructive method. I won't go into too much detail because you can grab the tutorial and check it out for yourself. But yes, Substance Painter is possibly one of the easiest ones to learn. CG Froggy says people are going to hate AI created videos or short clips when it's used massively in the future. I already hate it. You just go on to YouTube, just go on Instagram, maybe not Instagram, maybe Instagram as well, but just go on YouTube Shorts. It's everywhere. Every single other short is a AI generated mess, and it's just, even the thumbnails these days I am finding the thumbnails for some people who are content creators. Maybe they don't have the means to get a artist to do thumbnails, or they don't know how to do thumbnails, but they do because I've seen them for like 4 or 5 years. I've been following them for 4 or 5 years, and they should know it, but because they you know, they used to. They're just bloody lazy, I guess. So yeah, the thumbnails are getting on my nerves. It's basically just people running around in most of the thumbnails and chaos. That's it, basically. It's just a bit sad, to be fair. VR Tixie says, "Hey man, thanks for all your videos. Gave me huge insights on working in ZBrush. My latest project on ArtStation, Vertixie, showcases some techniques I picked up from you." Brilliant. So glad you were enjoying the videos. Joseph Boncasa says, "Are you working in the industry, Hamid?" Oh, sorry, that wasn't for me. Froggy says, "Yep, that's true." Okay, yeah, Hamid replied back. You guys can see it. I don't know how to say it. Oh, you know what I've just noticed? I've just noticed we haven't changed any of the layer on this character yet, which is not good, because we've done all this work and it's all on one layer. Oh dear. Yeah, this could be, if it crashes, I'm screwed. Yeah, it should be fine. You know what I'd really like to do with this guy? I'd really like to take him all the way to texturing, just to see what it would look like in Substance. I've got to buy that Substance painter on, was it Streamlabs or Stream? But yeah, I like this one. This one's really getting, it's really growing on me, this model. And trust me, when you become an artist, the one thing that you're going to love the most is your own artwork. Because, you know, when you start working for a company or a studio, you'll have to do exactly how they wanted to make, how they wanted to look, and all that sort of thing. Whereas if you're doing your own sort of concepts and sculpts, you can just do what you like. You don't have to worry about what other people think. If it's a likeness, then obviously people are going to have a say about things. But if it's just a piece that you like to do on your own time, sort of like this piece, yeah, you can just take your time. Don't worry about it. Vertex says, "I think AI will suffer from the same issue as AAA. People actually want authentic games with personality and character. Investment has moved from AAA to AA and indie." Exactly. I think I mentioned that before as well. Exactly. I think that AAA, I don't even know why they have a AAA, to be fair. It just sounds stupid. Then what, are they going to have 4A next or whatever? It's just stupid. You don't need AAA. I mean, I can still pick up Tetris and play Tetris like old school Tetris, and I'll be hooked on it. Oh, Cakester is back. Nice to see you back. Don't say anything about traitors. We're having a traitors-free zone here. We're talking about AI. Yeah, so like I said, I could pretty much just play Tetris or Snake on a mobile phone like Nokia 3310. I'll be bloody happy with that. I don't need to have AAA, quadruple A, whatever comes in fives. I don't know. Yeah, you know. Oh God, of course. Versus says, but AI will replace a lot of laborers from the 3D CG industry. It will, but I think, like I said before, they'll just move them to an indie studio, and then the indie studios will just be making bank because they don't have to sell it at 70 quid a game, which will probably be 100 quid in a couple of years. They don't have to obey by the big firm or big tech studios rules when it comes to making games, and they can take their time, because a lot of these other studios, they can't take their time because they're on a budget, they're on a time span. So if the indie movement will be massive, I think, in the future. Joseph says, sorry, Marcus, I was just curious. I thought Hamid wants to switch from something totally different career to 3D artist like me. Oh, no, it's fine. I think I'm just picking up all the chat at the moment. CG Froggy says, creating a game character, for example, it's a lot faster creating it manually using the 3D software instead of using AI websites and trying to make it perfect with prompts. You don't have any controls over it. There you go. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that's true. Hamid says, if possible, please do the texturing of this model in Substance Painter. Like I said, I would love to. I have to buy the program first, and I'm kind of waiting for the end of the year to until the end of the year to get that program. So maybe next year I'll run you through how I would texture this. Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a perfect UV map model. It'll probably be something that's just what do you call it? I'm blanking on it. UV mapped, like inside ZBrush, just auto mapped inside ZBrush, which is also probably an AI thing, to be fair. And then I'll just take that into Substance, and I'll show you some techniques in Substance and that sort of thing, and how to set it up and whatnot. Spoiler alert, just joke. Yeah, well, you better be, because I'll kick you out. £100 for a game is crazy when minimum wage is £12. I know, £100, and then they also want to put the ID lock. They're introducing the ID lock for PlayStation or Xbox. I was just thinking to myself, this sort of thing used to be a thing when you used to go into a shop and buy a video game, you had to show your ID. And then they just got rid of the ID, the whole thing about ID later on. And now they want to bring back ID. It's like, can you make your mind up? Do you want ID or do you not want ID? I mean, video games back in the day, right? Now, I think there's plenty of video. Like if you go onto Netflix and you go onto The Games That Made Us, the documentary of The Games That Made Us, and you go and watch the Mortal Kombat one, and then there was another game that was created. It was a strange game. It was a game about what was it? Oh, I can't think of it now. It was a game about serial killer that sort of gets into a house full of young teenagers, and and you had to. It was like a multi-choice question game, quest type game, but it was all videoed with real actors. So you choose a path, and then the next scene would play. It's all done through like fly on the wall visual, looking at what's going on. Those were massively not scrutinized by, at the time, the Congress in America, for safety reasons and whatnot, massively scrutinized. If you watched it now, you'd think it's a joke because it's stupid. It's all really stupid. Go watch it. You must go watch it. It's Netflix, The Games That Made Us. Go watch the Mortal Kombat one, because there's a section in there where they complain about the dangers of violence in video games, and then go watch the one where they talk about the serial killer game, which I can't remember what it was now, but it was so stupid because you watch it and it just looks stupid, and that's the sort of thing that they used to worry about. And I was just thinking, just take any game today and it would be having a heart attack back in the 90s. How many? Vertex says, also for any 3D artists here, the games industry is tough to get employed and stay in. I originally got into digital twins using LiDAR, terrestrial scanners. Salary is higher, work is easier. Oh, fair enough. LiDAR, yeah, I've seen some of that LiDAR stuff. Kato says, how would you go about unwrapping an asymmetrical model? Pretty easy, actually. You just need to, what I do is I would, if I zoom out, you can see how we have on our model, we've got different poly groups, right? Well, that's all you need to do. You just need to make all the different poly groups. So select all the different poly groups on your model, then come to the Z plugin, come down to, where is it? UV master. And on here, say polygroups, enable polygroups, turn off symmetry, and then unwrap. And it will unwrap all those different polygroups into different UV shells, into different shells of the UVs. I'm not going to do it now because we're not at that stage or working on that stage. But yes, that's how you would go about doing that. Okay, so it says the digital ID thing is just a scam to control. Yeah, I know. We all know. Fucking digital IDs. A caster, create edge loops around. Yeah, place makes sense. So you could just hide seams, create like bottom ribs above the boils. Yeah, basically. Ian the IDK V2. Oh yeah. You recommend Sculptress Pro. I like it very much. Haven't used it, so I wouldn't know. I'm kind of like a one-man band when it comes to this sort of thing. A lot of people have asked me, do you use Blender? Do you use Sculptress Pro? Do you use all these other things? Mostly ZBrush because it's the industry standard at the moment, and that's what I like to keep to. But usually try to avoid front-facing seams if you can. Yeah, I try to keep seams on the side of the torso. Yeah, that's a good point. There is some seam techniques in here, so you go Z plugin. You can enable control painting, and then you got to make a copy of the work on a clone first, then enable control painting, and that'll just try its best to control where those seams are on the character. But if you're doing this for a quick test inside a substance or anything like that, then I wouldn't worry too much. Typically what I would do anyway, is take it into Maya, like a low poly model into Maya, unwrap it in there because you have much more control over it. 2025, 2026 ZBrush, I think you can get more control with it, but we're using 2022 because a lot of people only have up to 2022 because of perpetual license, unless you are using 2025, and in that case, there's some new techniques in there for UV unwrapping. Oh, it's a feature. Oh yeah, Sculptress. No, I don't use that. I thought you meant the other one. I think it's called Nomad. Nomad. Yeah, I think that's what I thought of. But no, I don't use that. I use Dynamesh more. Sculptural is in ZBrush. It's the icon. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I don't tend to use that. I never really used it, to be fair. I'll have to have a look into it. ZBrush is quite a complex program, and it can be quite a daunting thing to learn all of it in one go. So you can get, definitely try it out at some point. Oh, I think we're all right. I think I'm all out of. Oh, huh? One question left. Oops. Ian says, "How would you learn anatomy if you were a beginner?" I have just recently been doing Monday live streams, anatomy courses. So if you want to become a member, you can unlock all the ones we've done so far. I think we're up to the hands at the moment. We've done the legs, torso, and arm. We're now on to the hand. We'll go on to the feet soon as well, and then the head, and then that's done. And then we'll just do some clean up to the anatomy. But yeah, I have got a tutorial, a live stream tutorial I do on Mondays for that. So yeah. Just anatomy creatures and all that. Oh, sure. mean, anatomy for creatures is the same as anatomy for humans. It's just using animals rather than humans. It's a lot of grabbing references from online, maybe looking at skeletons of creatures like crocodiles, lions, stuff like that. And when it comes to actual alien creatures, it's more about your imagination and also grounding it within reality, I find. So if you want to do like a four-legged, a four-legged alien creature from Avatar, what you do first is identify what kind of creature it is. So if it's a fast-moving creature, then you go for, and if it's a meat eater or herbivore, if it's fast-moving, we're going to sort of go with the more meat-eating or carnivore type creature. So you'd look through all the creatures of the world, a bit difficult, but you'd look through like all the creatures on the world would have 4 legs and are carnivorous and are fast-moving. And it'll probably be like cats, big cats in Africa, the big cats, the cheetahs, the lions, the leopards, tigers. Then you take that and that as a reference point, starting point. You grab a skeletal structure of it, then you'll reference that skeletal structure, like get references of them, and then you'll start to concept something that has the base of a lion creature, a lion, tiger, or leopard or whatever, but has the look of the alien creature that you're trying to look for. That's why I think, concepting is big. It's a big thing to look into as well. Even though I don't do a lot of concepting, like 2D concepting, drawing, it's still something to look into, especially if you want to do fantastical creatures or fantasy type creatures that are not grounded in any real world. You'll still need to kind of ground it within the world you're building. And if it's something for realism, like Avatar, or the creatures in Avatar, they have some sort of realism in them, even if they are massively different from what we would think of an animal or creature is. They'd still have that connecting point to something that's in real life right now, like whales, lions, rhinos, all those you can actually see in the creatures of Avatar. So that's how you would sort of go about for fantasy creatures and whatnot. It's quite difficult because you also have to have an imagination, a very hyperactive imagination when it comes to creature design. Case says all the Avatar creatures are inspired by real creatures and take adaptations from random animals, but that are suitable to their environment. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you wouldn't put a polar. Well, I was going to say that, but you can actually find polar bears in jungle, but you typically wouldn't put a polar bear in the jungle, right? You wouldn't put a rhino on Antarctica. You got to think of the environment it's in or it lives in, and then adjust it so that you have some sort of real reference from real world in your creature. Case is basically saying what I'm saying. For example, if it lives in the desert, it'll have large skiers to help cool it down. Exactly. Like the sand fox, I think that's what you're talking about, right? It's a sand fox. It has a huge ears. That's another thing you could probably do as well, is like just in the background when you're sculpting, turn on David Attenborough's wildlife programs and just have it on in the background, because you will find things in his documentaries that are just mind-blowing that you could use for a creature design in your next project. Especially the stuff about the deep sea stuff. The deep sea stuff now, that's the interesting things to watch when it comes to David Attenborough's stuff. Like there's one on there with that lobster that can break bone with its jaw, with its claw. Basically, it's like a shotgun blast when it shoots or when it hits you. It's crazy. Oh yeah, sorry. The phoenix fox, African elephant, both have very large ears. I think phoenix fox. Joseph Bugger says, if you would export this model right now, would it drag the details in the layers, in it, or you should bake them all first? I think baking them first would be. I mean, you could export this. I mean, it's a 5 million polygons at the moment, active polygons, and that's not 5 million actual polygons. That's just ZBrush's active polygons. There's different count in Maya and in ZBrush. You can export this as it is without having to bake it down. I would normally just bake it down just so it's all one piece, but you definitely could export this with all the detail. You probably want to decimate it first though, and once you decimate it, then you're going to lose the layers anyway, so yeah, it's not too much of an issue. Right, okay guys, that's 2 hours 30 minutes. Kater says, I would recommend getting qualifications in animals. I've just spent the last year getting qualifications in reptiles, fish, birds, insects, and primates purely for... Wow, that's dedication. I would normally just go and grab a encyclopedia on animals and just use that as a reference. Or, you know, I mean, you could definitely... I mean, why did you get qualification? Is that literally just for anatomy study, or is that for like zoology and stuff like that? I'm interested to know. But yeah, you could literally just go to the zoo or a zoo that's near you and just watch the animals and read up on the animals and buy a book about animals. And you'll already be like, I don't know, halfway there or more knowledgeable. Kater says a bit of both, but it literally taught me everything I'd ever need to know about anatomy. Definitely worth a while. How long was that course? 1 year. Okay. Yeah, definitely go for it, man. Definitely go for it. If you got the time, you got the patience to do it. I don't have the time or the patience at the moment. But yeah, you can definitely do a course in it. If it's going to help you with your studies, then definitely do it. All right. He says each course took about 2 months, but there were courses on each one. So with that qualification, what does that get you job? How can you use that job wise apart from 3D art and stuff? Is that something that could help you in another section, like in the job market? Hamid says, thanks for the live streaming. Can't wait to see how it will turn out after compositing. Already killer work. Thank you very much. Thank you if you're leaving tonight. Thanks for sticking around. You weren't a traitor like Cakester and left early, obviously. But yeah, thanks for sticking around tonight. And have a good weekend, by the way. Yeah. Kater says I could potentially get work volunteering now at a zoo, so I could actually see the animals up close for even better. You see, now that's a job that AI can't take away from you. So you have a qualification about animals, you can either do 3D work, and if the 3D work falls under, then you can go be a zoologist and work in a zoo. Well, I'm pretty sure that AI is not going to take over from a zoo, to be fair, unless they start sticking robots in the zoo. Yeah, I know you came back. But you did leave. You could have recorded it or watched it on iPlayer, you know, like a good follower would. Don't worry, I won't hold it against you. All right. Okay, I'm gonna leave before the spoilers come. Okay. Thanks, man. Have a good weekend. The second you get off and go on your phone, you're gonna see all this. I don't use my phone for that sort of social media. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I know it looks like we haven't done a lot. It looks like I've just rambled on about AI and other things, but we have done quite a bit. And also, don't forget the brushes that I've been using tonight. So I have just uploaded the latest 50 zombie skin ZBrush VDM brushes, which you can grab from my online stores. And you can do exactly what we've done tonight. Sort of use this, you'll use them in your own work. And if I just turn this layer off, you can see how much we've actually done. So if I just turn this on and off, you're going to be able to see how much we've done. See, we started off kind of with this, and we've done quite a bit of detailing. Now, the detailing stage of any character or creature is going to be, actually, we could turn this one off as well. So we started off with this, and we added the alpha maps, and then we just added more alpha maps and done some sculpting on top. And that's not too bad. I think we're getting there. I'm going to have to try and figure out what I'm going to do with the human side of him. But it's not too bad. Not too bad. Cool. So I'm just going to check comments real quick. GG, thanks for stream. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me tonight. I want to say thank you to all my online YouTubers, members. You guys are great. I'm going to leave it for tonight because I'm absolutely shattered. It's getting on to 2.5 hours now, so I've actually got to update this, so I'm going to update this and then I'll name everybody. But look at you guys, there's like 41 people now following, which is absolutely nuts. I never thought I'd have 41 people on here, but thank you very much. It's much appreciated. You guys are brilliant. And the Patreons, thank you all to my Patreons. They're all there as well. I think I've got to update that one as well, so I'll see you in the next week. I'll update that. And to next week, you guys on YouTube members will be able to get the ZBrush to Photoshop full 3-hour video on the Callisto character that I created, or creature I created, and you'll be able to see how I used my brushes and composited it in Photoshop. So, stick around for that, I guess. Thank you, Joseph, for joining tonight. Have a great weekend. See you all on Monday. Yes, thank you, everybody. I'm going to end this now. Have a good weekend. Go outside, read a book, do some sculpting, paint some paintings, and I'll see you all on Monday when we're going to look at the hands again in the anatomy tutorial. I will leave this video up until the end of the week, so a couple of days, and I'll take it to memberships only on Monday, so you'll have a few days to watch this again. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you all on Monday. Take care.
Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more exclusive content and want to support my work further, then please check out my Patreon page at MLW_creative for more. Also, view past live streams you might have missed in Tier 3 tutorial support, where I will be archiving future streams moving forward. If you are interested in other full-length tutorials, brushes, and models, then check out my online stores for more useful content. I would also like to thank all my subscribers and patrons for supporting me for this long. Again, thanks for watching and stay safe.